What's up, everybody? It's Corey, host of the Grease Pole Podcast, back with another weekly full Eagles mock draft. And before we get started, if you want to see our previous mocks and everything that we've covered regarding the 2023 NFL Draft, click that link above and that'll take you to our NFL Draft playlist as we get into our fourth full-blown Eagles mock draft. And right now, from this point going forward, we're going to abandon the mock draft simulator, right? This is all going to be just complete out the gate, no PFF mock simulator. And for this one, what I wanted to do was kind of do my best Howie Roseman, right? We're going to call it Howie's Most Wanted. This is kind of where I do my best Howie Roseman and draft kind of how, based off his track record, what I imagine it is that Howie would do, okay? And another reminder, these are not final mocks yet, okay? Our final full official Eagles mock will come in advance of the first round on April 27th. So without further ado, let's get underway with the Howie Roseman version of the mock draft and get to the 10th pick on April 27th, where the Birds are on the clock. And with the with the 10th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Look, this is the intrigue pick here, right? Top 10. I think there's 3 to 4 guys that have Howie Roseman written all over them here. Lucas Van Ness, Nolan Smith, Peter Skoronski, Kalijah Kancey. I think Kancey comes in 4th among them, and you can call me crazy, but I think Van Ness is off the board by 10. I kept going back and forth between Skoronski and Nolan Smith. I also think that Skoronski is very much in play for Chicago at 9, especially depending on what the Raiders do at 7. Right now, I've got Christian Gonzalez going to the Raiders at 7 and Paris Johnson Jr. going 9 to Chicago, which would leave Skoronski available. And if this is how things unfold on April 27, Skoronski makes a ton of sense if Howie stays at 10 and also addresses an immediate needed guard with Isaac Seumalo signing with Pittsburgh. Skoronski's absolutely one of the safest picks in this draft. And when you consider that he could immediately fill, a slot in at guard and perhaps eventually even play tackle if you've got an injury to Lane Johnson, this pick would check every box that Howie Roseman could want. He likes that versatility. He likes guys that can wear multiple hats. And keep in mind that, Jalen Hurts is about to get paid. And, big paid. And you know that Howie's going to want to ensure that this O-line remains the best in the NFL. And Skoronski would absolutely make that happen. First round, 30th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Brian Bresee, defensive tackle out of Clemson. If Kalijah Kancey's still on the board here, he's the pick. And I think he's in the conversation for Howie at 10, as we just said, but I think he's gone by this point. And look, Bresee may be as well, but of the two, I think he's got the better chance of falling to 30. Former number 1 overall recruit, Bresee's dealt with personal tragedy, loss of his sister. He's also dealt with injury, having torn his ACL in 2021. But for a guy that's 300 pounds, he can fucking move. And he's got an impressive first step. When he gets into your chest, watch out. He's got strong hands, plays a physical style at the D-tackle position, and pairing him with Jordan Davis would have the potential to be special. And if Bresee falls to the end of the first round, I think he'll be very hard for Howie to pass up to put those two together along the interior defensive line. Pardon the allergies as we go to night 2. Second round, 62nd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Yaya Diaby, edge rusher out of Louisville, one of these modern hybrid pass rushers. Diaby's seen his stock rise after an impressive outing and the Senior Bowl as well as the Combine. And it's yet another guy that can line up all along the defensive line, can be effective inside or outside. And again, how he values that versatility. Diaby's incredibly explosive, flies off the snap, and he can bend that edge, shoot the gaps if you need him to. He hit double-digit sacks in 2022 with 10, and he's a guy that can immediately be worked in the rotation on the edge and be an effective piece behind Haason Reddick, Josh Sweat, and Brandon Graham, and eventually elevate once BG inevitably retires. Third round, with the 94th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Blake Freeland, offensive tackle out of BYU. Howie Roseman, the Eagles invest in the offensive and defensive line more than any other team in the NFL. And while they only lost one starter from last year, Andre Dillard also left for Tennessee, and the depth along the offensive line isn't exactly there anymore. This is a pick to address that. Freeland's a guy that's got insane physical traits for a guy his size and feels like a Howie Roseman guy to me. 6'8", 302. Imagine him and Jordan Mailata should Lane Johnson retire before his new contract's up. You know, Freeland had an insane combine, 37-inch vertical, 4.9640. Again, it's 6'8" and 300 pounds. When you watch him, yes, he needs some technique work, but Jeff Stoutland's the best O-line coach in the business. Freeland feels like a classic Stoutland University project that's got all the traits to develop into a stud along the offensive line. To day 3 we go, 7th round, with the 219th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, where the Philadelphia Eagles select Raheem Jarrett, wide receiver out of Maryland. And look, man, we've come a long way from the days of Jalen Reagor and Greg Ward Jr. AJ and Devontae are arguably the best tandem of wide receivers in the NFL, but behind them, there's not much there right now. You know, you had Zach Pascal leave for Arizona, and after the Super Bowl, I think we're all in agreement on fucking Quez Watkins. So if a talent like Jarrett's there in this spot, it's a nice value pick and a nice addition to the depth chart at receiver. You need that reliable slot receiver, and he's got perfect size for it, does Jarrett. It's 6 foot, 195 pounds, with speed and athleticism that you either have or you don't. And his speed allows him to create separation, and you'll see the quick feet on those underneath routes, the slants and the digs. He's not afraid to go across the middle of the field, and he can turn on the burners to generate those yak yards after the catch. He's not an awesome route runner, but you can work with that at this stage in the draft when you consider the potential with the traits that he brings to the table. With the 248th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Thomas Incoom, edge rusher out of Central Michigan. Look, as we've said, the trenches are always a priority, so why not circle back around and add more youth to an aging edge rusher depth chart? We've seen with Milton Williams and Teron Jackson how he isn't afraid to snag guys from smaller schools with high upside, and Incoom fits the bill. 6'2", 262, so he's a little on the small side for an NFL edge rusher, but he put up impressive numbers at Central Michigan, and for a day 3 pick, I love the upside that he provides. You can't ignore the athleticism. He's a guy that's played linebacker in spots too, so you've got that. He hustles, got great instincts, and you'll see good fundamentals with a good first step and the way in which he uses leverage and bends that edge. Incoom gives you upside and further depth along the edge and even special teams as well. A high motor guy that you love to see at this stage in the draft. So there's the Howie Roseman special, the Howie's Most Wanted mock draft, we're going to call it. And I expect Howie to especially emphasize reloading in the trenches in this draft, both along the offensive and defensive lines. Again, the depth chart there has always been a strength of this team, and free agency did deplete some of that. So it's going to be a priority for Howie over any other position of a more immediate need like safety. You know, we all know the positions that the Eagles value, and if you don't, look at Howie's track record. It speaks for itself. So what are your thoughts on the mock? What do you think of the picks? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you've done any mocks yourself, please feel free to share the results as we continue NFL Draft Talk here and coverage here on the channel. So if you're draft obsessed, drop a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button as we look forward to bringing you even more content on the upcoming draft. We've got a few more weekly mock drafts, full Eagles mocks before night 1 of the draft on April 27th, including our official final full Eagles mock draft, as well as a handful of takes and opinions as draft weekend approaches. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. As always, go Birds.